I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Hey, this is Matt once again. This is another Patreon review, this time for Ben, who wanted my thoughts on the 1995 film Dead Presidents. It's directed by the Hughes brothers. This is the same guys who directed Menace to Society, which I know I have not seen Menace to Society. I don't mind Boys in the Hood. I haven't seen some of the other ones like Fresh and some of the other stuff. I did like Set It Off, which I reviewed recently. I thought that was a good one. I would say I like Set It Off more than this. This was okay. It was alright. I wouldn't say I loved it or anything. I would never watch it again. I would never pick it up to purchase. But it was okay for a watch. I thought the cast did a good job. It seemed like the movie made it, the marketing I should say, it seemed as if the robbery was going to be a bigger part of the film. And it's really not. Like, the robbery is almost the smallest part of the movie. But yeah, it's the thing that's in all the marketing, the trailers, the poster, you know, them and the paint. So I don't know, maybe that kind of took me off kilter a bit, because I thought it'd be a bit more about this robbery or in a build-up, and it would be a longer scene. Maybe it's just me. But it stars Larenz Tate, who does a solid job as a man who... He is graduating from school. His parents want him to go to college. There's this guy who's like a second father to him, played by Keith David, wonderful actor from They Live, John Carpenter's The Thing, among many others. Terrence Howard has a pretty early role in this as a guy who Larenz Tate is playing pool and fucks up and wins, and he fucks Terrence Howard up, you know, beats him in pool, and then Terrence Howard loses it and tries to hurt him, actually cuts Larenz Tate. So it was interesting seeing Terrence Howard in an early role before Iron Man and some of the other movies he did. Keith David plays a fun, although harsh, but not harsh to Larenz Tate. I say harsh character. This is a guy who, he just is laid, he has a fake leg, gets it stolen. He fucks some people up and even punches a woman, but he does get his fake leg back. So again, Keith David, definitely a bit of an interesting character he plays. By the way, Larenz Tate, he decides to join the Marine Corps. And his parents are like, oh, you don't want to go to Vietnam, blah, 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 but he decides to do it. Chris Tucker is a buddy of his. They have some dialogue, and then you find out when Larenz Tate's in Vietnam, Chris Tucker is also in Vietnam. Also in Vietnam is Bokeem Woodbine, another actor I like. He plays a pretty crazy guy. He's a guy who's really out of it. I mean, it's almost as if he's Dolph Lundgren in Universal Soldier, except instead of cutting off ears and making a necklace, he cuts off the head of a Viet Cong and keeps it as a souvenir. And so, I mean, he's definitely crazed. Yeah, you're good now. Jesus loves you. And people get headbutted, and it gets pretty bloody in the Vietnam scenes. I was pretty surprised how bloody it got. He cuts a guy's head off, keeps it as a souvenir, it rots, and people complain about how it keeps smelling. It stinks like a sack full of assholes. They find a guy whose guts have been blown out, and there's the guts laying there. I feel like Rambo in First Blood. You got guts all over me. You're falling apart, and no one will help. I want to go home, Johnny. You ain't got no fucking legs. You ain't got no legs. No. So, I mean, this don't sound stupid. Part of me almost wanted this just to be a Vietnam movie with these characters. And maybe for me that would have been more interesting, because the Vietnam scenes, I don't know, just seem like the more intriguing part of it. Maybe because of the combination of Larenz Tate, Chris Tucker, and Bokeem Woodbine, and then some of these other characters you have. Maybe because of like what's going to happen next. Like again, this guy, his guts are falling out, headbutts, fucking blood squirting, Bokeem Woodbine's crazy ass. People hit a mine, goes boom. There's firefights. People who know about guns, can you explain this to me? I'm not saying this is a fault of the movie. I'm saying I'm ignorant on the situation. When people fire in this scene, how come it looks like it's green lasers? Like when you watch the scene, it looks like when the firefight happened, it's green lasers as if it's Star Wars. Is there something about guns back then where it would look like green lasers? Is some kind of weaponry, some kind of bullets that I don't know? Please let me know, those who are more knowledgeable on this. But they get out of Vietnam. It's months later. And this is kind of when the movie fell apart for me. Like the beginning, okay, Keith David, Terrence Howard, okay. Vietnam scenes, definitely, I thought the more interesting part. But then it's 1973, Larenz Tate gets home. Chris Tucker has been home. It was interesting to see Chris Tucker play a different kind of role. He's not as energized compared like The Fifth Element, Money Talks. He's definitely a subdued Chris Tucker. He still has humor to him, but it was interesting to see Chris Tucker play a different kind of role. I like Chris Tucker. I was one of those guys that thought it would have been nice for him to do more movie roles, but when he got Rush Hour, he's like, screw it. Here's a payday. I did a big payday. I just have to wait for the next Rush Hour sequel. So that was too bad, because I think he could have done a lot more in his movie career. But yeah, I like Chris Tucker. I like Friday. I like Buddy Talks. I love The Fifth Element. I like the first two Rush Hour films, not so much the third. And this one I didn't mind. But you get the idea that he got Agent Orange and he's a heroin addict. Yeah, an interesting role for Chris Tucker. I wish they could have done more with him and really played it off even more so. But, he's not the star of the film. It's just the story where Larenz Tate, when he gets home, he sees his woman and, now realizes he's had a daughter. He's working at a meat shop. It closes. People talk crap about him. They're like, oh yeah, your lady was fucking me, blah, blah, blah. Just really messing with Larenz Tate's character. Granted, not enough, I thought, to the point that it made him choose to go into a life of crime. Well, I thought Set It Off did that much better, where they really built up why these four women go into a life of crime. I thought that build-up was much more effective compared to this. I mean, Chris Tucker, I guess the idea that he's going through all this Agent Orange, heroin addict. And Chris Tucker doesn't have the makeup. He's just a guy who's like a lookout. But it's this woman who, I forget if it was Larenz Tate's sister, I think, or someone he knew, a friend. I can't remember. Bokeem Woodbine was there. I believe Freddy Rodriguez from Planet Terror. He was in this. And they make this robbery, and I don't know, the robbery scene that was on all the marketing, and other than the unique face paint, I couldn't really tell you much about the robbery scene. It was just there's an armored car, some people get killed. One of them, Freddy Rodriguez, gets hit with a car. They make it out, things are fine, but then some get found out. Spoilers, for those who don't want it, spoilers, starting now. If I'll hold this, and then when the spoilers are gone, I'll put it down. You find out Chris Tucker, the cops come in, he's OD'd on heroin. The woman that was with him got killed during the robbery, as was Freddy Rodriguez. Bokeem Woodbine talked because he got arrested, which is probably how they found everyone else out. And Larenz Tate is with Keith David, and Larenz Tate gets caught. Martin Sheen, weirdly enough, he makes an appearance. That's like, this is Martin Sheen. He's in the film for like 1 minute at the very end of the movie. So I thought, did he have more scenes in the film, or... I thought it was really weird that Martin Sheen like just had this random cameo as the judge who sentences Larenz Tate for, I forget how many years. I think life or multiple life sentences. I forget. And Larenz Tate's like, "What? I fought for this country." I'm like, dude, you got people murdered. Police guards. What the fuck you talking about? I don't have sympathy for you. So yeah, I mean, by the end, I don't really have sympathy for Larenz Tate's character. Maybe that's kind of what hurts the film for me. Again, the third act, I don't know, for me, the third act with the robbery, which is all the marketing, felt like the weakest part of the film. The beginning, the opening, the development was okay. Again, weird stuff like Keith David again is fake laid back, and then the Marine, the Vietnam stuff seemed like the best part of the movie, the more interesting part. Again, part of me would prefer it if the entire movie was about that. But I don't know, the third act was kind of like, okay, you went through a couple bad stuff, but you don't jump to crime for that? Okay, I guess. If the movie's supposed to lead us to believe that, oh, the troubles of the Vietnam War caused him to do this, I didn't really get that. Maybe if it was focused more on Chris Tucker and did Agent Orange and much more development of Chris Tucker's character, and then maybe Larenz Tate doing it for Chris Tucker to help him or something, maybe. But I didn't really get the transition from Vietnam to here. I mean, he saw some bad stuff there, but I don't know. The transition didn't seem to flow. I don't know, maybe during certain sequences if he had, I don't remember him having, did he have nightmares? If he did, I don't remember. See, I mean, I guess that goes to show you with the third act. So, I mean, I liked Dead Presidents okay. I thought it was alright. The actors did a good job. It's worth a watch. I believe it was on YouTube for free. I found it. And yeah, it was on YouTube for free. It was worth a watch. I'm glad I saw it. And yeah, I don't think I'll see it again. Set It Off, which dealt with robberies and an African American cast. I thought that was more interesting and fulfilling and exciting compared to Dead Presidents. But Dead Presidents was okay. It was an alright film. But anyway, I'd just be repeating myself if I kept going. Thanks once again, Ben. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Take care. These are just my thoughts. You don't have to agree with them. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.